In this video, we're going to be talking about how to sort fractions and decimals on a number line. We're going to first of all learn how to do it, and then we've got two parts of the activity. The first part is doing a worksheet where we're going to just practice the skill, and then the second part is sort of just more of a fun way of involving art and our maths together. So that's what I'd like us to really make sure it looks excellent. So for the first part, let's learn how to do it. So here we have a number line, and I've got my instructions here saying to do it, we need to split up the number lines to the most appropriate choice, and then rewrite where the fractions and or decimals will go on the line. So here's my number line, and I've been told I have a half, 3/4, 7/8, and a quarter to sort. So I have to first of all decide, well, what do I think I should split this number line up to? Because if I decide to split up into halves, I put a line here. So I've got 1/2 here. Here's 1/2. And then here is another half. So I've got it in halves. So brilliant. I can just put it at the 1/2 point. So it's right here at where it's finished its first part. And then if I want to put 7/8, where do I put it? Because I've only split it up into two parts. So you have to decide. Your first step is to decide how many parts you should break it into. How do we do that, you might ask? We need to find the lowest common multiple, the LCM. So we're needing to find equivalent fractions. So what that means is the bottom number, the denominator, has to be the same. So is there a number that they all can go into? And there is. They actually all go into 8. They all go into 8. So I know that 4 times 2 equals 8. So I can do those times 2. I know that 2 times 4 equals 8. Right? When we're working with fractions, we always have to remember, whatever we do to the bottom, we need to do to the top. So I need to times this one by 4. If that one was by 2, this one needs to be 2. This one I'm not times by anything. So I'm not even bothered going times 1 because I don't need to. I don't need to change it. And then this one will be times by 2 because that one's times by 2, right? So I might just quickly change my pen. I need to pause it to do that. Ooh, that's okay. I'll just soldier on. Where did my screen go? There we are. So we've got 1 times 4 equals 4, and 2 times 4 equals 8. So 1/2 is the same as 4/8, which is the same to this 3. So 3 times 2 is 6. 4 times 2 is 8. So this doesn't need to change. It's still 7/8. And 1 times 2 is 2. 4 times 2 is 8. So they all have 8 on the bottom now. They've all got the same denominator. It doesn't matter what it is as long as they're the same. You'll want to find the lowest one. Sorry, it does matter. You want to find the lowest one. So 8 was the lowest they all could be. If I wanted to, I could change them all into 16ths if I really wanted to, or any multiple of 8 would work. So now I'd have to decide to break it up into 8 parts because it's broken up as a fraction into 8. That's what the bottom number means. So to do that, what I would do, I would split up into 2 parts. So I've got 1, 1, and 2. And then I would split those into half to make that quarters. Yes, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And then what I would do is I would split them up in half again. So I'm just finding the halfway point between each line. And then that's 8. So this number right here is 1. Then we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Don't forget this last one on the end here is 8. The one on the very end. So I don't actually need to write my numbers in when I'm sorting. I just know I need to have that many numbers. So now when I'm writing my fractions in, I just write the ones that are in green, because the ones in orange are what help me know where it goes, but the ones in green was the question, right? So to find where a half goes, which is another word for 4/8, I go to the fourth one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is a half. So to explain that again, I'm not writing 4/8 because 4/8 is just to help me work out where it goes, but in the green was what the actual question was. So I'm going to write in what was on the question. 3/4 the same as 6/8. So if this is 4, this is 5, this is 6. So that's where 3/4 goes, at the 6/8 mark. Then 7/8 will go at the 7/8 spot. And then a quarter was at the 2/8. So 1, 2. So it goes here, 1/4. So that is how you sort fractions on a number line. So remember, step 1 was you need them all to have the same denominator. To do that, we work out the LCM, the lowest common multiple they all go into. And then, or is it highest common? Yeah, no, lowest common multiple, that works. And then we have to break it up into whatever the denominator is, and then we can put them all in a number line because they all have the same denominator and it works. Great. How to work out decimals. So here I've got another question. It's not broken up between 0 and 1. This is 0 and 2. I also have a mix of decimals and fractions. So you decide whether you prefer it to be fractions or decimals. So for now, I'm like, well, look, 2 of my numbers are decimals. So maybe it's easier for me to just convert this fraction to a decimal. So remember to convert to decimal. The easiest way to do that is you need the bottom number to be either 10, 100, 1,000 or something with 1 and lots of zeros on it. So I know I could times it by 2. 5 times 2 is 10, and that will be a fraction that has a 10 on the bottom. So that will be 2 over 10, which is the same as 0.2. Yeah, if it ever has a 10 on the bottom, it just means I'm writing one number after the decimal spot. So it's 2. So now I can sort it. So, before I do that, it's decimals. Dec means out of 10. So I can't even think of any time if you're working with decimals that you wouldn't want to break up into 10. You always want to break up into 10. So between 0 and 1, this needs to be up into 10. So I'd go half, and then, so I know that would be at the 5 mark, right? Because that's halfway between 0 and 1, or 0 and 10. So then I break them into 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then here's my 5th. And then I've got 6, 7, 8, 9, and then there's my 10. Right, so then I do the same over here because it needs to have another 10. So I break up into half first, just so it's easier to work out. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then here's my 5th, so it's all even. And 6, 7, 8, 9, and then there's my 10. Brilliant. So now it looks pretty even for me. So now I can work out where they go. So 0.5 will go right here, 0.5. It's in between 0 and 1. And then 1.2, well, I've gone to the 1, and then I've got to go over 2 spots over. So this is where 1.2 will go. And then my 1/5 was 2/10. So here's my 1/10, here's my 2/10. So it goes right there. So it was 1/5 right there, which is another name for 2/10. Yeah. So that is how you do that. So we then go and solve the worksheet, and then we'll get to, I'll let you go off and do that, and then I'll explain the art activity right now for you. Okay, so we have, I've just drawn a, what do I call it? A clothesline. I should know that because I do my washing all the time. So I've drawn a clothesline. Hopefully at your house you have a real one. I also have a real one, but it's cold outside, so I'm going to draw it instead. But I encourage you to use a real one and use real paper. So if you don't have a clothesline and you don't have pegs at home, then this is a secondary option you could choose. So I'll show you what you could do as your other option, but I would really prefer that you use a real clothesline, real string, real paper, real pegs. So what you can do is you could draw up your clothesline, and what we're going to do is we're going to pick 4 or let's say 5. We're going to pick 5 fractions and decimals and or to put onto our clothesline. So I don't know why I'm so muddled today. And we're going to color them in and make it look really excellent. So I'll bring you to my piece of paper. And here we're going to draw some of our clothes, and we're going to put on the number line. So I'm going to draw, let's say, a t-shirt. So you do this on a piece of paper, not on a computer, right? And again, if you don't have a clothesline, then you draw this on a piece of paper and then draw your clothesline. But hopefully we'll get some scissors and cut it out. So I've drawn my shirt. I might draw some socks. There you go. That looks alright. And I'll color it in nicely. And then maybe I'll draw some pants. Anyway, you get the idea. So we're drawing a variety of clothes, whatever clothes you'd like. Maybe I'll have a little buckle. And hopefully your drawings look better than mine. And when you're finished drawing your 5 bits of clothing, I want you to write either a decimal or a fraction on it. I want you to try and challenge yourself. Try and not make the decimals or fractions too easy. So I might pick ones that have a different denominator each, but just as a word of advice, it'll be a good idea to pick decimals or fractions that could easily either go into, they all could go into 10, or they could all go into 20, something like that. So I might pick something that all go into 10, just because fractions and decimals together, that'll be the easiest way of doing it. So I might pick some fractions like a half, because that'll go into 10. I might do 3/5, because that will go into 10, because I'm just looking at the bottom number, right? Because 5 will go into 10, 2 will go into 10. I could do one that's, maybe you could simplify. That might be fun. So I could go, I don't know, 12/20. So I could simplify that by dividing it by 2, and then that would be 6. Oh my goodness, 6/10. So that it works. It goes into 10, right? So anyway, you pick 5 numbers, and then you write it on your clothes. So I've got a half, I've got 3/5, I've got 12/20, and then on my beanie, I don't know if you ever put a beanie on a line, but today I am. There's my beanie, and I'll write a decimal, and let's say it's 0.3. Once you've done, you'll cut out your clothing, and then you'll put it on the clothesline that you've made. So let me see if I can do that now. Okay, so I've got my shapes, sorry, my clothing. I've colored it in with some textures or color pencils or crayons, something to make it look nice. And now I'm going to sort it onto my real life clothesline. So again, I'd prefer you to actually have it, cut it out, actually get pegs, and actually put it on a real clothesline. This is what you do if you didn't have a clothesline, where you might need to just draw it on. So I've got my half, and I'm going to need to put it here, and then I'll attach it with a peg, right? So imagine I've got a really nice peg, attached it to it here and here. Lovely. I'm going to need to keep going. So remember, it would be easier for you to just quickly write somewhere on a piece of paper just to convert them quickly. So you go 3/5 into tenths, so it just times it by 2. So you got 6/10. 12/20 we worked out before. We just divided by 2, so it was 6/10 as well. That'll be annoying that we picked ones that are the same. Oh, try your best not to do the ones that are the same, because then it's going to be tricky to put on. And then we got 0.3, which is fine. And then we got 0.7. So I don't need to change these, right? And half is this the same as 0.5. So it means in my head, I'm just going to try and imagine where 6 would be. So 6 would be probably about here. So I need to put my beanie on, I need to put my pants there, and then my 7th one will have to go about here. So my socks will have to go there. And then my beanie, my beanie, which my 3 is somewhere down here. Okay, so I'll pause it and show you what it hopefully should look like. Okay, so there you go, there's my clothesline. So obviously yours will look a lot nicer than mine because yours will be colored in and hopefully you've used a real clothesline. But that is what the activity is today. So doing the worksheet and then completing this, and then yeah, hopefully it'll look amazing and you'll be really proud of your amazing artwork. I look forward to seeing the pictures of your awesome clotheslines at home.